Are you juggling 100 things at once and struggling to stay organized? Don't worry, you're not alone. I struggle too. Managing tasks can be overwhelming, but with the right tools, it doesn't have to be. Introducing Microsoft To Do, a simple, powerful tool to help you take control of your tasks, whether at work or home. Microsoft To Do aligns with the GTD method, helping you capture, clarify, and organize tasks seamlessly so you can stay focused, boost productivity, and manage everything on your plate with ease. In this video, we'll guide you step by step on how to install Microsoft To Do, set up your lists, and get the most out of its feature. Ready to get started? Scan the code to download the app. You can download the app on Windows, Android, and Apple devices. Let's dive in.
Let's see how we can get the Microsoft To Do app on our cell phones. I have an iPhone. If you have an Android, it'll be similar but different. I'm going to go to the App Store. If you have an Android, you're going to go to the Google Play Store. Now, what I'm going to do is search, and I'm going to search for Microsoft To Do. Now, I know that this is the icon, the blue check, so I'm going to click on Get. It's going to work a little bit. I want it to install. And I'm going to click on Open once it's done installing. It's going to open the app, and I want to use a different account. The account that I want to use is the trainer account. And now I just have to put in the password. After a little authentication. And remember, two-factor authentication keeps your account secure. I don't want notifications. And I'm in. I don't want it to send me notifications right now. It's going to take me through a tutorial, but I'm going to skip it. And if you notice, I already have some information here. And in the next scene of this video, you're going to see where this information comes from. See you in a minute.
Now that we've downloaded Microsoft To Do on an iPhone, let's switch over to a Windows laptop. We'll sign in and explore how to get started with the app. Let's learn together.
Now that I've downloaded the Microsoft To Do app, let's start to use it a little bit. First, I need to find it. In the bottom left-hand side where it says type here to search, I'm just going to type 2. And it's going to pull up Microsoft To Do. I'm going to click on Open. I am already signed into my account, which is the ITS Trainer account. You can have multiple accounts. So if I wanted to have an account that would manage things for my home, as long as it's a Microsoft account, I can click here and I can sign in, or when I go to manage accounts, I'm able to add an account. You can see that I already have 2 accounts here, my work one and the trainer one. I'm going to click close, but if you wanted to, you would just click on add account and sign in with your Microsoft account. Over here, you're going to see things like my day. These are the things that I'm supposed to do today. It shows today's date. So I'm recording on Monday, February 17th. Important are things that I have starred. Planned are things that have a date on them already. So it adds it to planned when the date arrives. Assigned to me, if my boss assigns certain tasks to me or team members assign certain tasks to me, it's going to pop up here. Flagged email is super cool. So if I have an email that I want to remember, but I don't want to have to go and search through my email, I can flag an email here. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this tutorial for the interest of flow. And then task is where I'm mainly going to be working. These are all the tasks that I have to do. So if I come over here, this is where I can add a task. Currently, I'm adding it to my day, but I don't want to add it to my day, so I'm just going to click on regular task. Now, a task might be to write I'm going to spell right, an outline for the presentation to management. This may be a task that I have. Remember, in the GTD method, you want to be as specific as possible when writing your task. Now, this is where we can do what's called a mind sweep, where everything that we have in our mind, we can put here. So I need to do an ITS tech tip. I need to remember to request vacation time. Self-care is important. And I also need to write the curriculum for our next Excel class. And I just remembered I also want to find a partner to work with for wellness series. So these are 4 or 5 tasks that I have. These tasks currently don't have much meat on them. It's just an idea to remember what it is that I need to do. Some of these are things that I need to do monthly. Some of these are things that I'm going to do one time as part of a project. So for example, write a curriculum for our next Excel class. Our Excel classes are part of a project. If you have tasks that are related, you can add them to a list. On the bottom left-hand side, you have New List. Click on it. Now I'm going to type Excel class series and just hit enter. Here goes the list now, Excel class series. Now, if you recall, one of my tasks did have to do with the Excel class. I am going to click on it, hold it, and just drag it over that list. And if you notice, now it says 1. And if I click, I have moved that task here. So this is how your regular task area can serve as kind of like your mind sweep or just a brain dump, right? Because our brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. So everything that I thought of, I just put right here. Anything else, I can create more lists. So I need to write an outline for a presentation. I need to find a partnership for wellness. So I'm going to add a new list. I'm going to say wellness outreach initiative. When I hit enter, I'm going to go back up to my task. And this is a task that I'm going to put over here. Now the monthly or the tech tip is actually something that I'm going to be doing monthly. So new list, monthly tech tips, and hit enter. And I'm going to take this task and I'm just going to move it here. And remember vacation time and outline presentation for management. I'm just going to go new list, presentations to work on. And back up to task. And here we go. So I'm just taking my task and moving it. Now I also always create a list called the brag book. What's a brag book, you may be asking? Have you ever come up to the end of your work year and have to write your performance appraisal and you can't remember what you did during this year? That's where the brag book section comes in handy. So I have organized most of my tasks. This one, remember to request vacation time. That takes me like 2 minutes, right? So maybe I don't really need to put it in its own folder. Some of you may think that's a little crazy. Some of you may be on board with my plan. It's okay. Whatever works for you, works for you. The GTD method is not written in stone. It is customized by everyone. to how they would like to work. It's more of a methodology and guidelines to help you work a little more efficiently. So let's pretend that I've already went into our timekeeping system and I have already requested the time off that I wanted. When you are finished with a task, you just click and it goes into completed. Did you see that one disappear? Now completed is going to stay here, but it's not going to show as a one or something that I have to do because I did complete it. So let's see how we can map out a task. Excel class series. Write the curriculum for our next class series. Okay, that sounds good, but if you're a teacher, if you've ever taken a class, you know that writing a curriculum is not just one, two, three. There's some things that you have to think about. When you click on a task, you now get your task pane. You can break your task down into milestone steps. So the very first step, I want to poll the staff to gauge interest, right? I can't have a class if no one is interested in taking it. And then I want to find out the skill gaps in the organization. I want to plan a date for the class. And all I'm doing is hitting enter every time. And after I do that, so now I've understood if there's an interest in the class, the skills that I should be teaching in the class, and I have planned a date for the class. Now I can write the curriculum. And after that, I can create the Zoom invite and I can send out to staff. So there are a couple things that I need to do, right? Precisely 6 things that I need to do. And as I start to work on the list, now let's say that we had a time machine. So I've already polled the staff. I already found out the skill gaps. I already picked a date. Do you notice that 3 out of 6 are complete now? I'm going to complete every one except for the last one, right? And why am I completing every one except for the last one? Maybe this is the first time that a successful Excel cohort has happened at your job. And this is something that you want to add to your brag book. If I complete that last step and I mark this entire thing as complete, I cannot move a completed task anywhere. However, if it is not complete, I can click on this task, hold it, and drag it to my brag book. And while it's in my brag book, I can mark it as complete. So now when my performance appraisal comes around, I finished this huge project, it was successful, and I can go and clearly see, oh yeah, this year I did do that, right? So that's just something to think about. Now let's look at the monthly tech tips, the ITS tech tip. So that's not really a good title for it anymore because I put it in a folder for monthly tech tips. So I'm actually going to rename this task. So first thing I do is click on it. Over in the task pane, I'm just going to click in it and I'm going to delete what was there and I'm going to say February 2025 is Microsoft to do, right? That is what my tech tip is. I don't want to add it to my day because I'm not doing it today. I do want to be reminded when to do it, but I want to pick a date. Let's say that I do my tech tips on the last Friday of every month. I want to be reminded on the 21st that this is due, and my due dates, I'm going to pick a date, is going to be the 28th. I'm going to hit save. So now I have a due date here. If you notice, it pops up here. The bell is my reminder. The little calendar is my due date. If I wanted it to repeat, I could, but my tech tip changes every month. If I had a file that I wanted to add, maybe I had already started to work on something, I can add a file or I can make notes, right? So be sure to talk about the GTD method by David Allen. Just so I can remember that I'm going to be tying this with the GTD method. When I'm done, I can simply just hit the X and everything is going to be there. You notice that one popped up in planned because I do have something planned now, and it's planned for February 28th. So we know how to open up our planner. We know how to add a task. We know how to create different lists and move those tasks within our list. We know how to map out a task, meaning what we did for the Excel class. This task had, or actually it's in our brag book now, this task had different steps. We mapped out the steps, and when it was close to being complete, we put it in our brag book. There's a lot more that we can learn about Microsoft To Do, but this is a great start. So let's start using To Do with my Microsoft To Do, and our GTD methods and see if we're not more efficient, productive, and have more time. Thank you for listening.